All right, guys. First of all, I wanted to apologize for the inconsistency in my video making. That's first of all, right? So I wanted to apologize for the inconsistency, right? Because I think I want to start becoming more consistent with my video production, right? But I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are still drawing. Hopefully, I hope you guys are just doing well. So today I just wanted to start off with a essential book that I just got. It's a book that I've been thinking of for a while. It kind of mirrors this book right here that I have, The Perspective Made Easy. And you'll see why a lot of the things that are in this book are also incorporated in this book. But yeah, this is the famous Andrew Loomis. I think I have all of the Exodia pieces except for the fun with a pencil. But I literally have the creative illustration, figure drawing for all it's worth, drawing heads and hands, and then now I have the successful drawing by Andrew Loomis book, right? So this is I don't know what is the term for a pentagon when it's 5 different things that is a set. Quadriceps, is a pentaset of books, right? But okay, so let's talk about this because I'm going to name this book, I'm going to name this video Figure Invention. And the reason why I'm going to name this video Figure Invention is because I wanted to just start a series and continue a series about figure invention in these Andrew Loomis books. Andrew Loomis books are perfect for covering the fundamentals of drawing, figure drawing heads and hands, and then also the creative illustration where he goes through different mediums of drawing. So, and then when it comes to because he doesn't really cover fabrics for the figure, but this is where you can dip into other books. But I just wanted to sort of freeform these sort of videos where I'll take the book away and I'll start drawing, or I'll talk about a book, the entire video, whatever. But I just wanted it to be a series about figure invention, just because that's what I'm trying to get into. I like to use reference, but I mostly want to invent. So, Successful Drawing by Andrew Loomis. Right? I think I want to talk about these books and everything that I have separately, just because there might be people searching for them separately, but not necessarily for figure invention. So yeah, just to get started, make sure I'm recording. Successful Drawing. I think that you should grab this book for the fundamentals of drawing, right? Beautiful sleeves. I love to take the sleeves off of these books, and I love when they have a hardcover that has a nice graphic on it, and it's a nice blue. This blue is like my favorite color. And then this, as soon as I took the sleeve off this book, I'm like, Jesus Christ. But rather, Jesus Christ, Yeshua. If some of you understand that, Successful Drawing. You see also, it names the other books in here. Successful Drawing gives you an illustration that looks like a chart, doesn't look like a chart, it looks like a China pencil, profile. Humbly dedicated to the little fellow we know as the art bug, which I'm like, the art bug, I'm like, this kind of does look like a bug. The inkwell It has a dip pen, a pencil. It has a what the hell do you call this? A protractor. Like, it has a lead on one end, and then it has like a metal tip on the other to sort of get like perfect ellipses and circles. I'm not sure what the hell that is. I'm not sure what that is right there. And then these looks like simplified. This looks like a sphere and a cone, and then this looks like just lines emerging from a horizon line, and this just looks like it's creating, you know, sort of perspective shot. This is just like sort of like what will create the grid from in your perspective shot. So this is a book that I've been looking. I have it downloaded already on my computer as a PDF, like the entire book, but I wanted to get it physically because I have the other Loomis books physically. So he talks about the fundamentals, right? Talks about think of your paper as representing open space, not as a two-dimensional surface, but as if its edges or the boundaries of an open window. You look at all of life and nature through this paper window. So I feel like this is a perfect explanation for how you should look at your paper. You shouldn't look at it as a piece of paper. You should look at it as, this is my window plane to the world. So even if you're drawing from imagination or you have reference or you have this or that, the piece of paper should be your window plane into that. Not, you know, just a flat piece of paper, because you're going to be trying to create three-dimensional pieces on the paper. He's talking about working with contour and line and then working with tone. So this is a book I would definitely say to pick up before you pick up any of the anatomy books, before you pick up any of the figure drawing books, any of those sort of things, because the thing about it is those figure drawing books and those anatomy books aren't going to talk about these steps that you have to go through when thinking of a drawing, right? You're not in these anatomy books, they're not really going to explain to you like, oh, these are supposed to be three-dimensional shapes. You're supposed to be thinking of it as if the paper is a window, and you're trying to capture these three-dimensional shapes in this window that you have, which is the paper. It's going to just tell you about names of muscles, names of, whatever, tendons, names of bones. It's not necessarily going to tell you about how you should be treating the paper as an instrument, how you should be thinking of the paper as. You should be thinking of it as, he's talking about proportion, placement, the placement of the proportion, perspective, the perspective that you have that you're going to place that proportion. And, there's planes when it comes to lighting a shape. He's talking about pattern, deliberate arrangement, tones, and subject. That's more with composition. But there's so many things that you can think about, that you should be thinking about when you're just trying to draw an appealing image, not necessarily just always getting the anatomy 100% correct or trying to draw just a cool character. You should be thinking of all these things when you're just trying to create an image, right? So I've talked about this and I've showed this. He's talking about contour, construction, conception, character. So I wanted to sort of draw along with it, right? So I have this little sketchbook down here, and I sort of wanted to also draw along, not only just talking about it, but also drawing along, right? Right here, right? And I got this big Gelocity 0.5 millimeter pen right here that I probably got from, I don't know where, maybe CVS or Rite Aid or something like that. So I sort of want to try to plan an image out. So I want to plan someone in a library reading a book, right? So how would I do that? I would want to first create a picture plane, right? This is how I'm thinking of this as an entire page versus a square. So this would be my entire page if I had my sketchbook turned this way, right? So someone reading a book in a library, right? So what would be the person probably be in front of the, you know, they'd probably be something like this. Arm a little foreshortened, face turning this way, right? Trying to match the entire figure to perspective, right? There'd probably be a chair here. This is sort of how I would plan things out, right? Because I'm going to plan them out like this, and then I'm going to draw a book laid flat. I'm going to draw the entire table, right? And I don't really care right now, I'm just keeping it messy. Draw a leg, draw another one here, you know? And then maybe in a library, there's also other people. Looking down at the book that they have, right? They probably have their arm on the desk. You know what I'm saying? They probably also would be sitting in a chair. Leg coming out here. This would be a leg for the table. This is sort of just how I would think of, you know, there'll be a table over here, but obviously it's going back in perspective, so it'll be a little smaller, so the person who's sitting at this table would also be a little smaller, right? And this is how I would try to look at a scene, right? This pen is not really doing me any justice, but I'm gonna rock with it because I picked this pen from the beginning. So there will be another person here, you know, sort of menangling, you know, it'll be diminishing with the perspective, right? But this is sort of how, you know, I'll plan out a scene, right? Because you see how the scene is coming together, even though the detail is a little questionable. You can sort of how I'm explaining it to you. It's sort of like I'm not thinking about the detail. I'm thinking about how the image that I'm trying to create is going to fit within that picture plane. Not really thinking about any anatomy, anything really, any shading. I might put some shading in there a little for the table, right? Book, might have a drink on top of that table, like that. But I'm just thinking about how are these characters going to occupy this space right here? You know, what do I think in my mind? You know, what do I think a scene in the library looks like? You know, it's like people reading books, right? So I was able to create that environment to where those people, those figures in that scene will be able to sit and read those books. They wouldn't probably need some tables, you know. I'll switch to the ballpoint just because the other pen was frustrating me a little. They would be sitting at tables. You know, there will be tables diminishing into space. There will be multiple figures. You know, there will be it just depends on what I would want to focus. I would want to focus on those sort of studious setting where the figures are interacting with the books. They look like they're focused on reading those books, right? So there's a few things I incorporated into maybe a scene like this that this Clemens book goes through very well. Alright, and I feel like it's probably the best one for it, just because you see how much pencil work he does. If you look into a lot of other books, they don't really show like that rough work, and I feel like that's where you learn the most, is that rough work with the pencil. I feel like everyone should start with a pencil. Even if you're drawing digitally, right? Start with that pencil, that pencil tool. You know, just start with a pencil. You know, fundamentals. I feel like wherever you go with art, when you're learning, you should always start with a pencil. Always. It don't matter if you're drawing traditionally or digitally, you should always start with a pencil. When you're learning, when you're trying to learn something new. Like if you're just trying to do whatever, freehand illustration, you can do whatever you want. I'm talking about when you're trying to learn something, always start with that pencil. Pencil is the most versatile thing that you can probably ever use. It's like the perfect medium between charcoal and pen. Usually when I study books, I use pen just because I don't want none of my drawings to smudge, but I also understand the importance of the pencil. It's not even about like the pencil to paper, it's just about literally the idea of the pencil, even when it's digital. So he talks about perspective a lot in the beginning, which is essential. It's essential to figure invention. If you don't understand perspective, you're going to have a hard time trying to invent figures, because you're not always going to have that reference to portray the idea that you want to get across. You can always go out and try to find references that are similar to that reference that that sort of references that are similar to the idea that you're trying to create, but you're never going to find anything exact. So you're going to have to invent. And these are the building blocks to that. Understanding perspective, understanding shapes, understanding volume. A lot of this is very essential blocks of specified dimension. It's sort of like a flip through, but I'm also talking about the essential things that you need to like a lot of this stuff, like just how you see how this would be a cube if it was flat, but it diminishes the farther it goes back into space. The closer it gets to the vanishing point, the more it diminishes. And the way they find those lines is they, draw lines that intersect with it's when you grab a book like this, you can read along and you'll understand the more intricate details, but there are just basics that you just can understand off the jump that will get you drawing pictures that you like, illustrations that you like a lot more. A lot of these are just principles that you just need to understand when you're trying to create scenes and trying to create characters in those scenes. Understanding how to, projection when it comes to shapes. You see how this is the front view and this is the side view, and when you add perspective to the mix, you can get like a 3/4 view of what you only understood as a front and the side view. So you can see something from the front, right? Whether it's a building, an object, or whatever, and you can sort of try to invent just because you go, okay, it looks like this from the front. I wonder what it would look like from the side. And then he gives you the principles of like how you can combine those to get a more three-dimensional, looking shape. So see how long this video is. I don't want it to be too long, right? So with all this, right, I wanted to also draw a picture, draw a more detailed picture of this scene. Maybe just try to draw one figure a little bit more detailed, right? So I got this figure right here. I wanted to sort of flesh out, right, with the ball pen. Started reading the book, so there. Facing down like this, right? Nose. Get that lip in there. Right. Eyebrow. Get that ear. Ears will matching up. Make sure don't let the bottom of the nose to the top of the brow. Right. And I was recently looking at the Cure, the comic, and I saw like how they drew ears in there. It's very wrapped, like simplified, sort of like that. You gotta find out what you like. Also, not only what's anatomically correct, but also something you have to find out things that are appealing to you when you draw. So I'm gonna draw a shorter head hairstyle. So the head is going to be a little bit more, you know, shaped to the skull. Like this. Know a little bit about anatomy. Wrap that around, right? Chair. I'm going to be seeing the top portion of the chair. Right, sort of like that. It's going to be back of the chair. It's a little flat. This will be my shoulder here. And then, you know, also try to imagine yourself in these scenes, right? Like that's also key. Like, you know, you can always make like those motions. Like, how would I? You know, you can like look at your own body while you're drawing and like, you know, what do I look like when I turn this way or my hand is this way? Sort of blocking the hand right there. On the hand right now, right? Then I'm gonna draw the other arm right here. Right. Right there. Draw the thumb. This is sort of how I was sort of thinking now, like how I would do a more detailed sketch. like this one necessarily be realistic, but it just gives it more of a dynamic feel. Then I want to draw the legs of the table, which would probably block the foot, honestly. The one will come down over there where you can't see. The one will come down this way. You know, just a person reading a book, you know? Even that, you know, I'm measuring the elbows, measuring the knees, you know, under the table. Just trying to think of everything in a three-dimensional sense. Even when it's not completely finished, I'm just thinking of creating that volume, you know. Yeah, that's sort of how I would do it. And that was sort of, especially from the scene, I'll work from the scene to a more detailed sketch. And then after that, it would be the finish. But yeah, I want to continue to make a series on just figure invention. That's what I really want to get into. And I'm going to start making more and more videos about it. So, you know, just bear with me. Been going through a lot of things now, but I'm going to make more videos, be more consistent. But yeah, thank you. See you next time, guys.